My question is, what is the Vedic worldview on the idea of stepping out of the comfort zone to encourage growth? And does this go against the principle of following charm?
We consider outside the comfort zone to be very charming, Sergio. Once you get in the habit of enthusiastic embrace of the unknown, it now becomes charming, because what made it non-charming before was a mistake of the intellect. The mistaken intellect thinks to itself, the ever-repeating known, the formula is charming. It's mistaken intellect. What's charming? I'm going to be safe if I stick with that. That is the known. So the known, the formula, that's safe, and that which is outside the formula, not safe. Then we learn to meditate and a new thing happens. We begin to discover layer after layer of implicit, implied capability. I am stable, and I appear to be really stable, and I am adaptable when things happen, where things, a change of expectation occurs and things don't go the way that I thought they were going to go. I find myself remarkably adaptable. Stability, adaptability, these two qualities begin to show themselves more and more, and therein I find my certainty. I find my certainty in my inner capability. My inner capability yearns to be tested. And for that test to happen, I need to have the unknown. I need to be in contact with the unknown. And it turns out that contact with the unknown, that is to say, willingly going into contact with that where I have no legitimate expectation. I'm intentionally keeping myself from knowing what's going to happen. I'm having an adventure, and I can have it because my inner certainty, my certainty is not based on knowing exactly what's going to happen. My certainty is based on knowing what my capability is. Where do I find my capability? Where do I find my certainty? Rather than looking for certainty in everything happening according to the menu, the plan, I find my certainty in my knowledge of capability, my inner stability, my inner adaptability, my capacity to interact with change effectively. Now I have my certainty, and my certainty itches for some kind of proof of its invincibility. And where do I find that? I need an adventure now. And then the adventure becomes charming. Adventure becoming charming, embrace of the unknown becoming charming, is itself an indicator of how much inner capability you have layered through your meditation. You've layered in, and now your certainty is internal rather than your certainty being external. Certainty being external is a very vulnerable state, because we're relying on the relative world to behave in ways that are predictable. And one of the qualities of the relative world is that it's unpredictable. And so when we hurl our certainty onto the relative world alone, trying to control the relative world to be sure that the formulas that I have already that came from lesser consciousness states, that those formulas work. And, so I'm going to make sure that the relative world is certain by it conforming to my control of it. And actually, as our certainty of an inner capability grows, the layering of inner greater and greater capability, greater stability, greater adaptability, I have certainty here. Now I'm just itching to put myself into a position where I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't care that I don't know, because I want to see what happens when my inner capability interacts with the unknown. And this then becomes enthusiasm and theos, to be imbued with God. Theos is God. And enthusiasm means to be godlike in embracing that which I don't require the relative world to be certain, because I'm certain. Like that. I hope you like that, Sergio. I think this is where you're going.